Welcome, everybody, to the AI Verse, where I bring you the monthly roundup of all things artificial intelligence and metaverse. And obviously, this is the month of February. And in this particular month, I'll be going over OpenAI's Sora. So, the text to video, which is something that I've personally been looking forward to for a very long time. And I'm going to show you how far AI has actually come from less than a year ago until now. It's huge, it's massive. And then all the developments with Nvidia, they're really starting to expand the company out and get vertical integration across all the different sectors of artificial intelligence. And some of the developments in the metaverse with Apple and Meta's new headsets, as well as some potential investment narratives within cryptocurrencies. So with that said, let's actually get into the headline story, which is, first of all, the text to video. So OpenAI's Sora. So Sora is an AI model that can create realistic and imaginative scenes from text instructions. So in the same way that text to image really exploded onto the scene and turned the whole creative industry upside down, I believe that this also is going to turn the whole film industry on its head. This is going to open up new avenues. It's bridging the skill gap required to actually create videos. And for a content creator such as myself, I'm extremely excited about this. I don't need to spend hours and hours and hours and thousands and hundreds of hours learning these skills when I can just leverage the artificial intelligence and cut the time requirement down. So this is what's so precious about these things, because time is more precious than gold. It is the most precious asset. And if I can leverage artificial intelligence to save lots of time, I'm totally okay with that. So first I want to show you just very quickly, this is from April of last year. So this was text to video last year. So let's take a look at this. So just very quickly, you can see the quality of the video itself. You can see all the distortions in the body. It can't get the body quite right. You notice that with text to image, where hands in particular would be like really obscure and look very unnatural, but it's getting better and better. And so now it's the same thing with text to video. It was very obscure. The bodies were all warped and demented, and really, yeah, it wasn't at that level yet. But now let's actually have a look at the level that it's achieving now. So let's bring this up. So now these are some videos. So I'm just going to very quickly go over some of these videos. So this is, look how realistic that is. Super realistic. I'm just go through some of my favorites. I mean, this one is awesome. So several woolly mammoths approaching, treading through a snowy meadow. Look at the quality of this. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. This one I loved. So a movie trailer featuring the adventures of the 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet, blue sky, salt desert. Okay, let's have a look. It's like interstellar. I mean, look how realistic his face looks. Look at the detail on his actual face. The eyes, the eyebrows, the beard. And he's got his woolly orange helmet. And in the same way that I loved text to image, I actually was using text to image. The beauty of this is, with my imagination, I can create, and I don't need the skill. And with text to image, you can actually utilize that as an iterative process to draw out something out of your mind that you weren't even expecting in the first place. You might start with something in mind, but then when you start to use these text to image and text to video, it actually starts to inspire you, and it becomes like an iterative process between you and the artificial intelligence to create something completely unique to what you were expecting. That level of creativity is something that excites me a lot. As an architect, that level of creativity was something that I was always striving for, or something that I always strive for when it comes to designing buildings, when it comes to really getting in that flow and using the tool and working with the tool to create something beyond your imagination. That's what art is really all about for me. So this is interesting as well. So this is like a paper world. So what does this mean for things like Pixar? What does this mean for text to video. A child could make a movie based on their own imagination. It opens up a whole new area, a whole new field of what it could look like. So we saw Pinocchio's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, the stop motion. The love and the attention to detail that went into something like that is really phenomenal. But now we can start to do these sorts of things and create different kinds of animations. It's a very realistic. Let's have a look at this one now. So this is some more. This is what I think is very interesting in how it turns everything upside down. So this is Rowan Chong. So he brings a lot of good stuff. So have a look at this. Tyler Perry put his $800 million film studio on hold after seeing OpenAI Sora. The billionaire is concerned if no regulations are put in place, but is actively looking for advantages AI brings to the table. So you can either fight it or you can accept it. So he's doing a bit of both at the moment. So he's accepting, okay, this is what's happening. And it's really putting his plans on for his film studio on its head. Because what does this actually mean for Hollywood? What does this mean for movies altogether? This opens up the whole world of movie making. It democratizes that process to everybody who has access to the internet now. So we have this glass one. I'll show this one here. I'm not going to show all of these. But if you have a look at this, your eyes can tell it's not quite real, but it's still very, very cool. The reflection, the way that it moves. Here especially, you see here the San Francisco bridge. So it has the same quirks as, so this is through San Francisco. It has the same quirks as text to image where it's not quite perfect. So you'll see, you know, where does the bridge actually end? What actually happened to the bridge? Perfect, but it still gives you a sense, an essence of, that's the main thing. This was exceptional. This is hyper realistic. I mean, look at this. Yeah, okay, you can really tell again that it's not quite real, but it's still very, very cool. This one here, dogs. There's a few cat ones here as well. So the whole like dog and cat meme. This was very interesting as well. Look at the level of detail, the quality, the reflection, the light, the sand. It's just gorgeous. But yes, the whole dog and cat meme now has opened up a whole new area. This, another thing, again, what does this mean? For animations, I can, with my imagination, create new styles of visual imagery, anime. What does it mean? It opens up different avenues. So again, with Pinocchio, we've all seen Pinocchio in different ways. It just means it's new ways to actually see it. I won't continue with all of them, but this one I wanted to definitely show. Look at this. Look at the level of detail, the eyelashes, the eyebrows. You can see the pores in the skin, the moisture in the eyes, and then the zoom changes. Look at that, the wrinkles. Look at that level of detail. This is an AI-generated text to video. That is phenomenal. That is exceptional. This was one of the first times that I'd actually ever seen this, so it really blew me away. So again, you can either go with the flow and accept things as they are, or you can fight it and say, oh, well, you know, I've studied film for years and I don't like this. It takes away my artistic integrity or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't argue. Those debates are very, very important, but I choose to go with the acceptance. Again, as an architect, producing an image, a rendered image would take, like, honestly, sleepless nights, sleepless night after sleepless night after sleepless night. And I'm not even joking. Like, you would spend like over 100 hours within a week to try and produce this image for one of your assignments. Is just obscene to get the quality that you want, which you can now do with just text to image. You basically, like, if you can get your prompt correct, you know, you can well over half the time it's going to take. You can 1/10 it. You can well over 1/10 it. You can 1/100th the time it takes. I mean, this is the opportunities that it grants you, the time that it grants you, the skill that it grants you. You're leveraging the skill of the artificial intelligence. That, to me, is a massive, massive thing moving forward. And so now let's move on to the next area. And the next area is going to be with Nvidia. So let's get into the Nvidia part of the video. So Nvidia overtakes Amazon in market value. So you can see here, the market value of Amazon is in white, and Nvidia has now overtaken it. It hasn't overtaken its all-time high of Amazon. As you can see, it might have by now, because this was on February 13th. But at the minute, it's 787 US dollars for Nvidia, for the Nvidia stock. So since 2022, it was around 100 and something dollars, and it's done about a 7x in 2 years. So that's phenomenal for something of this size and this scale to do that kind of performance is huge. So this goes to show how big the narrative is with artificial intelligence. And what they're doing now with all this money is, so Nvidia Gear Research Group created to develop AI robots and NPCs for physical and virtual worlds. So jobs open it up to 333,000 per year. So if you want a job, AI is like the money that you can make in this industry is huge. So Nvidia has set up an interesting new research group called Gear. A clue to the research group's goals is provided by expanding the GEAR acronym, which is Generalist Embodied Agent Research. GEAR has basically been set up so that Nvidia can further advance and build capable AI-based entities that can operate with skill in both the virtual and physical worlds. We are therefore talking about things like intelligent NPCs and robots respectively. So obviously Nvidia is known for their computer chips, their computer hardware, their graphics cards. And now they're really expanding out the operations of their business to start to capture the value and the capital that is in all these other areas of technology related to artificial intelligence. And on that, again, Nvidia, Intel, and Jeff Bezos invest millions in AI humanoid robot company. So this is just something where all these companies are really starting to expand out and really starting to get their fingers in all the different parts of the pie, which is very, very good for the consumer, because as competition goes up, innovation goes up, and the price for the consumer goes down. So this is exactly what we want as consumers. And here they have provided the first public view of its fastest AI supercomputer. So EOS is the name of the supercomputer, and it's powered by 4,608 H100 GPUs. So it's tuned for generative AI. Now, obviously, at the moment, you've got Microsoft in generative AI, like all the big tech companies, Google, Meta, Facebook. I mean, every time you're using something on the internet that is like those robot things, you're training their AI. When you're using the AI, you're also training their AI when you're using the large language models. So at the moment, prior to this point, Nvidia was actually outsourcing, or they're selling their chips to these companies, which are then utilizing those chips to produce this generative AI. Now Nvidia is actually seeing the opportunity there, seeing the capital and the profit that they can generate from that, and now starting to do that in-house. So this is very big. Again, it's going to drive innovation, competition, and price down. This is exactly what we want. This is exactly what we want as consumers. And so very exciting moving forward. Now here, NVIDIA's Chat with RTX is a promising AI chatbot that runs locally on your PC. So this democratization of chatbots, you're having them on your keys, on your keyboard. I mean, I've got it integrated into Opera here. So this is Aria. So I can just go here. What does this mean? And it will, I'm just double clicking. So highlighting it, explain briefly. So locally, what does that mean? Explore the topic, translate, explain briefly, and then it will bring up Aria. How can I help? Briefly explain a term or topic from the text locally, and it will explain what it means. So place specific, supporting local, real-time information, so on and so forth. This other story here, Meta reportedly working on a new AI chip it plans to launch this year. So in the same way that Nvidia is trying to expand out into the different areas of artificial intelligence and technology, Meta is also doing the same. So these big companies are really competing against each other for that market share. They're trying to capture that market share. And it's a wonderful thing because it's going to drive the products to better and better heights. And this is exactly what we want as consumers. Now moving on to things in the metaverse. So Tim Cook confirms Apple's generative AI features are coming later this year. So not quite into the metaverse, but just segueing into it through Apple. So the Apple CEO says his company is putting tremendous time and effort into integrating AI into its software platform. So just like I mentioned, as we saw, Nvidia is expanding out into AI. Apple is also expanding out into AI. They're really recognizing and understanding this is where the opportunities are. So with their massive capital, they're billions and billions of dollars. They're all starting to expand out into the different areas and getting their fingers into all these different parts of the development of technology. The Apple's computer for your face is finally here. The Vision Pro has the potential to deliver wearable tech's iPhone moment if Apple can convince customers that it's worth the cost. So I do know that it's quite expensive. So it's $3,500. So it's very, very expensive, but I have seen people using it, and it looks pretty cool. And I must admit, it definitely looks cooler than Meta's. I'm sorry, but Zuck says Quest 3 headset is better than the Vision Pro. And without having used them, honestly speaking, just by looking at them, the Apple's computer for your face looks a lot better than this one. This looks very heavy. It looks very clunky. It looks very uncomfortable. This actually looks very, very sleek. Looks like it fits the head very well. So it's going to be an interesting battle between the two. And it's really a wonderful thing. This is exactly what we need. We need this battle to drive innovation up. So now I've just got a little video here. So I'm just going to skip to old mate here.
Literally. Apple Vision Pro, at its core, well, it is a VR headset. Now, Apple would never say that, and they probably won't like that
I mean, look at that. It looks gorgeous, as you would expect from Apple.
I'm saying that word. You know, I made an entire video about why they refuse to use those words, and they're calling it spatial computing instead. We'll get there. But the truth is, it's a really, really, really high-end virtual reality headset. It's something we've seen before, right?
You got the cushioning on the back as well, so it looks very comfortable, looks very beautiful, looks very elegant.
It's got displays and lenses and speakers and fans and buttons, and this is a form factor. This is a thing that we have seen before. But before I even turn this thing on, there are clearly several...
Okay, I'm just going to skip ahead to him actually using it.
Scans so it understands your hands, and then you go through this process of basically looking at a bunch of dots all the way around the screen and then tapping your fingers together to select them. Kind of feels like an eye test or something, and then you're in. So first thing you're going to notice, like any one of the default Apple apps here, it locks into place. It's floating there. It kind of looks, again, like an iPad app, but very glassy, like this frosted glass around the UI sort of lets you see through a little bit to the color behind it. And it even sometimes casts a shadow on the ground in the correct Z space, so it really solidifies that it's floating in front of you. All of this makes it feel like the window is in the space around you. Then, if you look at the... you almost just feel like you're looking at the real world, not through a headset. Also, the pass-through is so close.
Okay. So I love that. I love the direction that it is moving. I don't know how you guys feel. So this generation is a very interesting and unique generation. There actually is a lot of people who basically utilize these technologies just through their phones, which is really interesting to me because I've grown up with a computer first, and then a phone came after. Whereas now, the generation now that's entering into this space, they've grown up with phones first, and most of them don't have computers or laptops. And people are really innovative with just their phones, the things that they can do with just their phones. Me personally, I find using the phone very restrictive. Anytime that I can, any kind of content creation that I can do, I always do it on my laptop, and I've got a secondary screen over here because I like that freedom of being able to move things around and see things in this way. And this is the thing that I'm very, very excited about with these kinds of headsets, because even the laptop feels very, very restrictive at times. You know, everyone will know this phenomenon where you've got tons of tabs open and it's a really frustrating experience and you kind of get lost in all the tabs, and it's really restricted to this tab bar at the top, and it's quite limited, and it actually slows down your workflow because your mind kind of wigs out a little bit. With something like this, what I love about this in the way that I'm seeing things now, and the intuitiveness of using touch screens and iPads, I love this idea of just being able to go, okay, here, I want this still to remain. I don't want to close it down because I'm going to use it later and I don't want to remember to bring it back up, but I'm going to just put it over here. And then this here, I'm going to put this over here because this is a totally different thing. And this here, I'm going to put over here. So I've got these three things that I'm kind of working on. They're all related to each other, but they're not all consuming my my focal space. They're not basically like scrambling my brain trying to focus on three different things and manage three different things at once. I can put all these different three things all around me, and then I can just focus on this one, but have these other things really within my consciousness, and I can pull them into my field of view whenever I need. I love this kind of idea. I love the openness that it can bring into the world of creativity and into the world of actually doing and performing tasks with virtual reality and computers. So that's something that I'm, again, really looking forward to, because it is definitely a frustration with my computer. And I know with laptops, you can get those touchscreen laptops, which are really cool. But again, I would really love something that kind of breaks open this computer and this feeling of like feeling trapped inside of the computer. And I don't know if that's just me and the generation that I grew up in, but I don't know if that's how people with mobile phones feel about it. But it's a very interesting and unique phenomena, because a lot of people seem very comfortable just using their mobile phones for a lot of their creative endeavors, which I find very fascinating. So, okay. So now this one, just before we get on to the next section, I thought this was really cool. So again, with the metaverse, let's just have a look at this. Have a look at old mate here walking his dog with his headset on. So he's got the leash there. Is this what the future is going to be? Is this Ready Player One right here? Very interesting to see how this will develop. Okay, so now Neuralink. Neuralink in this month, groundbreaking achievement. So the first human brain chip was actually implanted. So Elon Musk's Neuralink, for anyone who doesn't know, successfully, this is one of Elon Musk's companies, has successfully implanted their first computer chip in a human brain, promising advances in merging cognition with technology. Volunteer recovering well with chip detecting neuron activity. So previously it was only just performed in, I believe it was primates. I don't know if it was chimpanzees. I can't remember which one it was, but Elon Musk, the visionary founder of Neuralink, has announced a groundbreaking development in neuroscience and technology, successfully implanting the first computer chip into a human brain. The significant achievement, shared via social media, represents a leap forward in Neuralink's efforts to merge human cognition with advanced technologies. The breakthrough procedure and the science behind this. So the essence of this technology lies in its ability to detect neuron spikes, the fundamental units of brain activity. So the neural network, by capturing these signals, Neuralink's implants aims to translate thought into action, offering hope for individuals with paralysis or other movement disorders. The implants placement in the brain is critical, targeting regions responsible for movement intentions, thus allowing the control of computers or other devices purely through thought. So this is actually something that I really faded in the past, and I was really against it. I would have debates with my friends about this, but my mindset has really shifted on this, and I do believe that I was wrong. I think it's just about this attitude of accepting the world as it is and seeing what it is. What I think is going to be the interesting thing with this is, well, for a start, I think this idea of actually utilizing this technology to help people with paralysis and mental disorders is going to be revolutionary, and it's a wonderful thing for the world. What I don't like is how people can possibly rely on this as a substitute for the power of their own mind. So I'm a very big proponent of meditation. I'm a very big proponent of taking control of your own mind. And if you're substituting the power that you have within you for technology, I think that's a big mistake. I don't think we should ever rely on technology to substitute the power of our own mind. What I think we could do is leverage the power of that technology to supplement the power of our mind. That is the power of AI, and that could be the power of Neuralink. But also, medically speaking, what it can actually do for paralysis and medical mind conditions it's a wonderful thing. So I definitely feel like I was wrong in that. Okay, so that's really good news. So that's huge news, because it was all just through computers before. It was all just through primates. Now it's actually through humans. So this is going to be very interesting to see how it develops, what kind of adverse effects it can have. I mean, it's going to be interesting. There is something, I'm not religious, but I have read the Bible, and there was something in the book of Revelations which, oh, wow, this really sounds like it's now, where the signs that it's warning against is this kind of thing. That's also why I was a bit like skeptical at first. Okay, so looking for coffee, meet Adam, the robot barista. Oops. So old mate Adam here, he can just make you, it's a robot that can essentially just make you a coffee. So I have shown last month rather, the restaurant, and now Adam here can actually create you a coffee. So it's a robot that's doing it all for you. He's slinging lattes on the show floor.
So this is our Adam robot. He is a barista robot in this case, but really he can make a lot of different beverages, from boba tea, coffee, iced lattes, iced tea, to even whiskey shots and cocktails. So really it can apply to almost every single kind of beverage making application. And here you can see him filling up ice, washing out the cups, getting milk, and then brewing the coffee, and then making, in this case, a foamy hazelnut latte.
Combination of robotic arms, and these kinds of technologies are improving so much. Even so, did you see its fingers? Or they're not even fingers, so its hand here. So even for a robot, there was another breakthrough that I haven't actually included in this one, where a robot could pick up an egg and move the egg from here to here. This is a huge development. Something as simple as picking up an egg and moving it. For us, we don't think twice about it. Okay, yeah, an egg, move it from here to here. Perhaps when we first picked up an egg, when our parents said, okay, be careful, don't drop it, your brain goes, okay, don't drop it. And your brain computes it. And okay, you understand intuitively just by feeling it. Okay, it has a surface area that if I crush it, it's going to squirt everywhere and the egg is going to break. So I can't apply too much pressure. But that's something for us that's very easy because of the nature of our brains. For a computer, for a robot to do this is a huge leap. So even now, that doesn't have any hands. It doesn't have any fingers. The hands are just like claws. So as these things continue to develop, the task that they're actually going to be able to perform is going to expand out. That's actually one of the greatest innovations of the humankind, is the fact that we have this thumb. Just this thumb, this hand, and this thumb has allowed us to create tools. And with tools, we've been able to dominate nature. We've been able to harvest nature. We've been able to control it. Nature still always wins. Nature always wins. But because of that, it's given us an advantage over every other species on the planet because we have this hand with a thumb. It's a massive, massive part of the human consciousness and of the human's dominion over nature. So as robots start to do this, it's going to be really interesting to see how everything advances further into the future. Now, this is just a cool little story that I wanted to show, that how somebody used ChatGPT. So I like League of Legends. I used to play it a lot. And someone actually used, I just thought it was cool. I'll just play it. So he's used ChatGPT to help him come up with a way of defeating this character.
I am playing the shovel man mid against the lady with the many tails. Give me original ways to try to trick her.
Try feinting with your shovel drop to bait out her charm, then engage. Use
Shovel
terrain to your
bait?
advantage and surprise her from the fog of war. Fake a
Okay.
retreat, then quickly turn to catch her off guard. Use unpredictability to your advantage.
Fake a retreat and then turn quickly. Boom. I could have. Well.
So
Thanks, ChatGPT, my friend.
that was ChatGPT that gave him the strategy, and he wasn't even aware of a strategy like that. So very, very interesting. The kind of things that we can start to use artificial intelligence for, large language models for. It's really continuously expanding. Okay, now in terms of investment. So cloud infrastructure saw its biggest revenue growth ever in Q4. So this was Q4. So let's have a look at this. It jumped. Where was it? So for the last several quarters, we've seen a lull in the expansion of cloud infrastructure market with lower growth numbers than we've been accustomed to seeing in the past. That changed this quarter, thanks in large part to interest in generative AI. The new revenue wave began just last year, driven by the ChatGPT hype cycle, but has already pushed cloud infrastructure revenue in the fourth quarter of 2023 to 74 billion, up 12 billion over last year at this time, and 5.6 billion over quarter three. So it's gone up by 5.6 billion and 12 billion over this time last year. So this is something that is again continuously expanding. You want to be able to see these trends. These are the trends that I'm trying to look for, trying to capture, because when I want to look for, I don't really look for investing in stocks personally. I'm not interested in stocks at the minute. Nvidia, amazing, but that's a 7x over 2 years. I'm not really interested in that. Cryptocurrency is a lot more volatile, a lot more speculative, but you can use these speculative narratives in the artificial intelligence world, which actually drive narratives within cryptocurrency. So, for example, I will just let's go to the top one here, render. When ChatGPT was launched, so by the way, if you want to go to the artificial intelligence, you use CoinGecko and you just type artificial intelligence, and it will take you to the category of artificial intelligence and so show you all the tokens within artificial intelligence here. So if I go to render and I go max, so here we saw this spike here. So here is, oh no, that was 2021. It's probably not so clear on this one. So it should be March 2. Well, it's really essentially here. So this massive spike in price was when ChatGPT came out. So the narrative in ChatGPT that came out is what drove a lot of these which drove this hype cycle within AI, which had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with ChatGPT, but just because it's got something to do with artificial intelligence, everything spiked. So if you think about Nvidia, it did a 7x, so its price multiplied by 7 times within 2 years. This is $1.50. This is $7.80, so that's a 7x, just under a 7x in the space of November 2, November 21, in the space of 20 days. That's you've got the same returns in cryptocurrency as you did with Nvidia. So this is why I'm interested in cryptocurrency. So with this, cloud infrastructure saw its biggest revenue growth ever in Q4. So seeing these trends, okay, this is interesting. It's growing again. The interest is growing. There's tokens like this, AI power grid. Now, I'm not saying invest in this. I'm just presenting these opportunities to you based on what some of my friends. So Adam from Vibra Finance, I'm going to link his channel up here in this particular video where I saw him talking about this. He's really onto all of this stuff. So I listen to a lot of his content, and he's really explores all the different avenues and utilities of cryptocurrencies, and AI is definitely one of the utilities that he's looking into. So now if you have a look at this, so this is just in February, man. So that's almost a 2x. So from 22 cents to 32 cents. So what's that? A plus 50% gain. So that's a plus 50% gain within the space of, well, this is, oh man, this is in the space of a day. This is within a day, because this is brand new. So this is why I like what he's spoken about here. And I'm actually kind of kicking myself that it's done that. It's done a 50% in a day. Man, see, this is crypto. Crypto is just bonkers. So what I like about this one, it's brand new. It's less than 6 months old. So it came out in December of last year. It had a little pump, had its all-time high of, 70 odd cents, and its all-time low of 16 cents. So I would have, honestly, a bit of a fool. I think what stopped me when I looked at this was just a time thing. I don't know any of these exchanges. I'm not linked up to any of these exchanges, but Adam was saying that they were very easy. They're centralized exchanges, but there's no KYC, I believe he was saying. What I also like is the market cap. So 16 million market cap. So if we go to something like Render is a 2.8 billion market cap. So the lower the market cap, the higher the upside potential. Even though market cap in a lot of instances isn't actually a valid metric, when it comes to things like this, people do really look at market cap. So this is AI power grid, which is basically outsourcing power. So going with this narrative of cloud infrastructure. Then there's storage chain, another cloud infrastructure play. So this is a 37 million valuation, fully diluted valuation. Another one that's brand new, got released around about the same time, or on the day 21st. So this is one where, hey, this is a potentially interesting play. We haven't really seen any, unlike this, we haven't seen like a spike in price. It's been mostly steady on the sideways. Now, this is highly speculative. There's no guarantees that this is going to go to $1 billion market cap. But if this does go to $1 billion market cap, at the moment, it's a $37 million fully diluted market cap. So if I go 1 billion divided by 37,660, so I'll just do that. What did I do there? Whoops, that's not right. So there we go, 1 billion divided by 37660. I'll just do it the exact 351. That's a 26x. So if this gets to $1 billion fully diluted market cap, that's a 26x. So the price of this at the moment, 0. You could get a price of not much, 49 cents, so half a dollar. Now, not saying that this is possible. This could just be a scam. It could be a rug. I haven't really done any research on this or anything like that. I'm simply showing you that the opportunities are there with cryptocurrency, and we are entering into the bull market. So the halvening is coming up in April. So these are the things that you really want to start to pay attention to. You don't want to get something like, I mean, I wouldn't be looking at Render. I'll go to Render, for example. I mean, it's already had a massive climb. So it's gone from $1.48 at August of last year, and it's just kept climbing. So it's now 7. So again, it's done. It's 7x. So this is actually, interestingly enough, really followed at a ratio very similar to Nvidia. So the dollar to over $7. Neuralink is another one that somebody mentioned to me on Twitter the other day. So again, very small market cap, tiny market cap, 3.5 million. Neuralink AI. Oh, it's got AI in it. Is it going to be a narrative? I don't know if it's going to be a narrative, but just the fact that we're seeing these continual spikes, AI and gaming could be a massive play. AI and metaverse and gaming, in my opinion, is still going to have a nice little run within this crypto market. Is it going to be the narrative that's going to drive the biggest hype cycle? I have no idea. I can't speculate on that. We can only speculate on potentials, and that's what speculation is. So with that, I hope that's given you a good roundup of the month of February. We saw Sora. We saw the massive, massive innovations with text to video from just 1 year ago until now. The huge leap, the way that this opens up the whole creative industry, the way that this could turn Hollywood, the whole movie industry upside down and open up a whole new series of avenues for people to explore. We saw Nvidia. It's really sticking its fingers in all the different AI, and all the other tech companies are sticking their fingers in other areas that they don't currently have any investments in, which is going to be very good for the consumer because competition drives innovation, and innovation drives price down. So this is wonderful for the consumer with those Apple VR goggles. They don't want to call it VR goggles. 3.5 thousand US. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's like $5,000 Australian. I can't afford that. I would love to be able to afford it. Maybe after a crypto bull run, maybe I can buy some, but I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't be buying them at that price level anyway, because it's just the beginning. It's like buying a phone years ago would be like, I mean, now it's still in the thousands, but the scale, as things expand out, the price goes down. This is a law with technology. So it's very exciting to see in the future. Maybe it's going to be less than 1,000 to be able to buy these VR glasses. Maybe it will never get to less than 1,000 because it's still really a computer, and computers are over $1,000 generally if you get a good computer. But 5,000 at the minute, 5,000 Australian is a very high price point. So there's a lot of interesting things with Metaverse as well that we saw, and all the unique opportunities that are happening within cryptocurrency. This is not financial advice. Go at your own risk. It's something that I'm continuously keeping my eyes on, and I'm going for lower market cap plays, and I'm just going for things that have dips. I don't want to chase things that have already done a 7 to 10x unless I see a 50 to 80 to 90% drop. So with that, that is the roundup for artificial intelligence and metaverse for the month of February. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. If there's anything that you're interested in, anything that you want to learn about, please comment below. And I hope that you like and subscribe and share this video around. Thank you very much. Take care. We'll see you in March.